Hello, and welcome aboard to this episode of the We Are Reading One Piece podcast. This is a podcast dedicated to following the entire story of One Piece from beginning to end, as we focus on one volume each episode. We keep the discussion spoiler free for new fans of the series, so this is the perfect place to follow along whether you're new to the series or just want to revisit the world of One Piece with us. This week we will be covering Volume 13, It's Alright, which covers chapters 109 through 117. My name is Joel, and I'll be your host. And joining me today we have Sean.
Hello, this is Sean.
And we have Evan.
Hello, welcome aboard.
All right. So we are going to be picking up where we left off. So I'll give a little recap from last volume. The Straw Hats managed to escape Captain Smoker in Logtown thanks to the help from the mysterious man named Dragon. They finally enter the Grand Line, but the journey is abruptly halted when the Mary is eaten by a giant whale. Inside the whale, they meet a doctor named Crocus who tells them the whale is named Laboon, who was abandoned by another pirate crew 50 years ago. He has been taking care of the whale ever since. Two agents from an organization tried to kill Laboon to take back to their village to feed everyone, but they are stopped by Luffy. Luffy promises to come back for the whale after the journey has been completed. He agrees to transport the agents back to their hometown of Whiskey Peak, where they are greeted with cheers and plenty of food. As the crew passes out, the rest of the town plots to cash in on Luffy's bounty. Fortunately, Zoro realized the town was up to something, and he takes it upon himself to protect his crew. So let's hop into the cover story before we move along the main story. So we have Kobe and Helmeppo's Chronicles of Toil, Volume 22. We're so useless. Kobe and Helmeppo grovel to Vice Admiral Garp for causing so much trouble.
In a puddle of their own tears.
So short and sweet. Yeah, so there's been quite a bit going on with Kobe and Helmeppo, but luckily they're fine. But now they feel bad for causing Garp so much trouble here. All right, let's just move along to chapter 109, A Question of Duty. Zoro has managed to defeat the entire town of bounty hunters. The only ones left standing are Mr. 9, Mr. 8, and Miss Wednesday. Not ready to give up, Miss Wednesday summons her secret weapon, Karu, the Ultra Spot Bill. Miss Wednesday mounts Karu, then the duck just sits down. Mr. 9 attempts to best Zoro using his acrobatic techniques, which ends up being his own undoing as he falls off the building. Miss Wednesday uses her enchanting vertigo dance, causing Zoro to become disoriented. As she charges in on Karu, the duck overshoots his target and also falls off the building. Mr. 8 ambushes Zoro with his saxophone shotgun blasts. Zoro dodges and retreats for now. Mr. 9 is back up, catching Zoro by surprise with a steel rope hidden in his metal bat. Miss Wednesday has also captured a sleeping Luffy, threatening to kill Zoro's captain. Now surrounded as Mr. 8 regroups with his colleagues, Zoro throws Mr. 9 into Miss Wednesday, bounces off of Luffy, then slashes Mr. 8. With all the bounty hunters down, the fight is all over. All right, what do you guys think of this one here?
Too easy for Zoro. I loved all of the character intros and all of their different quirks, but they're all talk and no walk.
So far, Baroque Works isn't too impressive.
No, Zoro is just give me a challenge.
It does feel like Zoro is over-leveled for Whiskey Peak.
Yeah.
He's just like, oh shit, I shouldn't have grinded that hard in Logtown. Got the new gear. Man, this is a cakewalk.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much.
I was not here last week though, so I'm glad to be back, and I wanted to take the opportunity to say that I really do love Mr. 8's design with his giant hair and his saxophone shotgun. It's so good, man.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about how he has kind of like a musical element to him.
It's
how he does
great.
like the little voice training before he says
what
something.
What does he say whenever he does that? He's like Igaripa?
Me.
Oh, well, that too, but yeah. But he says Igaripa every time he shoots the gun.
Oh yeah, with the saxophone, yeah.
Yeah, I love
Isn't that his name? Or his code name?
Yeah.
We'll get there.
Igaripa. Yeah.
The code name of the code name.
So we basically get the wrap up of the fight because the last chapter Zoro was making quick work of the whole town. It was basically him versus everybody, and now we kind of get like the boss fight at the end where it's like you have like your actual named agents here, but they're all like pretty incompetent. Uh, so Miss Wednesday like brings in like Karu, and then Karu just kind of like doesn't obey the commands, like just runs off the building. Mr. Nine's like flipping around, fall off the building. So like Zoro, you have to like lift a finger. He's like, "What are these guys doing?" Like,
it's a pretty great physical comedy chapter in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
It's just like just how badly can one organization fuck up, and well, they sure did.
I also like the character design for the villains, and like they introduce their abilities, which are seemingly pretty cool, but then turn out to not be so not so honed or so practiced.
yeah, so it's kind of like, do they just let anybody into Baroque works? Like, and
Yeah,
these are
right.
like,
That's the criteria.
yeah. So it's like, is this the best that they have to offer? Yeah, and then like when it seems like Miss Wednesday, when she does like the vertigo dance, it seems like, oh, maybe now like she's gonna get Zoro, but then like she just kind of misses the opportunity and like Karo just runs past him. But
I
even
do
then,
I do question if Karu wasn't seemingly as incompetent or listened to what they said, would they have had better success? But I mean, you can say that about literally every member of the team. So, like...
Blaming it all on the Ultra Spot Bill, who is very emotive. I love the expressions the duck gives.
Yeah.
I guess it's a duck.
Yeah, it's a duck, yeah.
What is he, some kind of toy?
Yeah,
and then
boy, even like has like the shotgun
in his hair.
Yeah, his hair. They come out of the rolls, which is pretty crazy.
I love that Luffy or that Zoro says, "Luffy, lend me your belly." And then the sound effect is plump when he lands on him.
Plump and then moosh as he exits the belly.
Moosh.
Yeah, Luffy's so a little full from going hard with the feasting.
Yeah. I'd like to think if Luffy was awake, he would have had no problem with Zoro using him as a temporary trampoline too.
Yeah.
Like, you bought it, you get it, buddy. Sure thing. Gum trampoline.
Yeah. So any other thoughts on this chapter?
It's a fun one. Nothing much more to say. It's just Zoro just absolutely smacking some people around. Like,
yeah. Love to see Zoro just kicking some ass.
We're coming into the Grand Line with a bang here.
Yeah. All right, let's move along. Next part of the cover story. So there's actually a typo. It says on the volume, it says it's Kobe and Himepo's Chronicles of Toil, volume 20, but it's actually volume 23. So they actually correct the numbering like on the next one. So it's like it was just this one that was off for some reason.
Huh.
But anyway, Kobe and Himepo's Chronicles of Toil, volume 23, 5 seconds before Garp's announcement. Garp is about to make an announcement regarding Kobe and Himepo. So what's he going to say?
What's it going to be?
Are they in trouble?
This side story is a really slow burn.
Yeah, they really are taking their time.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit.
A lot happens between chapters.
But yeah, that's how it goes sometimes.
Yep.
All right, moving on to the chapter itself. Chapter 110, The Night Isn't Over. Luffy wakes up and is surprised that he's outside. Some stragglers from Baroque Works try to flee as their top officers have been defeated, but they are stopped by the Unluckies. Before they attack, the failed agents, Mr. 5 and Miss Valentine arrive, ordering them to halt. As Zoro is ready to relax, Mr. 8 tries to get up as he says he has a special duty. Mr. 5 and Miss Valentine find the fallen officers who think their fellow agents have come to help. They clarify that they are here on the boss's orders because it came to his attention that their organization has been infiltrated by the members of the Kingdom of Alabasta. Realizing his cover has been blown, Mr. 8 attacks. Miss Wednesday tells her colleague, Mr. 8, to run, who turns out to actually be Igram from the Royal Guard of Alabasta, here to protect Miss Wednesday, aka Vivi Nefertari, Princess of Alabasta. Mr. 5 is ready to finish Vivi off, but Mr. 9 steps in to defend his partner, despite not really knowing what's going on. Mr. 5 easily blasts him away using the powers of his Boom Boom fruit as he flicks his explosive boogers. Out of desperation, Igram begs Zoro to save Princess Vivi. He promises to reward him. Nami arrives and agrees to help for the price of 1 billion berries. All right, so I want to start with Evan on this one.
Enter Booger Boy and Wheel Woman. I still don't get her character design. I don't know what those wheels are supposed to be or what they are.
So for Miss Valentine?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So I think they are supposed to be like lemons.
Yeah.
I think it's easier to tell with the color.
Gotcha. Oh, I can kind of see it on the cover.
Yeah, it's a little hard to tell, even from there. But like,
All right,
I think
Booger
because
Boy
there's
and
kind of
Lemon Lady.
like, yeah, I think they're like lemons or citrus of some kind.
Yeah, I was excited. Getting some new characters. We get number 5. I don't think we've been told the ranking of their names yet, or how their names work. Have we figured that out yet?
Yeah, so they haven't actually gone into the organization rankings quite yet, but they do mention this volume. So essentially, they are like the higher up you go in the numbers, like the higher in the organization you are. So typically, the more powerful you become. So the lower these numbers are, you can presume that they're going to just get stronger from here. But I mean, right now we haven't really seen anybody too strong. But maybe Mr. 5 and Miss Valentine will change things.
Is it that the male members are numbers and the female members are like holidays or something? Or
Yeah,
days?
or like days.
Yeah.
Explosive boogers, though. That's kind of a fun superpower.
As a kid, okay. I got some stuff to talk about this guy.
Okay, yeah, Sean, you can go ahead. Yeah.
As a kid, this guy was like, that can't be what his power is. I was convinced like he must make something out of his nose. They're not actually snot. It's like, oh my god, it's actually snot. It's actually just like he's got this cool design. He's just like this dude in sunglasses, and he's like, by the way, my power. It's like, all right, sure, dude. Like, and then maybe that's the joke. He's supposed to have this incredibly cool, like appearance, but his power is the most just schoolyard nonsense shit in the universe. Like, all right.
Hey, sometimes you don't know what fruit you're eating until you get it.
I guess so.
And you gotta work with
it. Like he couldn't.
Boom fruit. That sounds fun.
Oh.
Yeah, explosive boogers.
Yeah. So Evan, what did you think of the reveal of Mr. 8 and Miss Wednesday?
I mean, they seemed like very formidable opponents. I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but I like their character design a lot. Like Sean was saying, number 5 looks really cool.
Oh no, I meant like they'll find out about how Igram and Vivi they're not actually like here as part of Broke.
Find out they're imposters.
Yeah, so they've had ulterior motives for being in the organization,
right?
And we get the reveal that they aren't who they've been representing themselves this whole time.
Yeah, I thought he was
Any thoughts?
I thought he was gonna I thought that he wasn't maybe involved, or they didn't know he was involved, and he was gonna blow his own cover by being like,
okay.
Oh my gosh. But it turns out there were multiple moles in the Baroque works. yeah, I thought it was interesting. You know, because you see these guys show up and you expect them to be chasing Luffy and co, but instead they're looking for moles in their own facility, and it kind of like is a little side plot that I didn't see coming.
Yeah,
I guess it explains their lack of training or
explains them at
adequacy
least.
for
Not
being
everybody
in
else,
an
but
assassin's guild.
yeah, it doesn't seem like they're really quite cut out for it. So
Yeah.
that's good. How about you, Sean? What did you think of this reveal? I know it's probably been so long for you, but
it's been a hot minute, yeah, but I wasn't really. I was like, man, this just seems like a kind of a name drop out of nowhere. So I wasn't fully unaware of exactly what was going on with it. I was just like, I guess this is some backstory that will be revealed in time. But I didn't realize it was going to go where it ends up going. Certainly, like it becomes a way bigger deal than maybe it would. I thought maybe it would be just contained to this little arc, but no, it keeps going.
yeah. So there's some seeds being planted here.
Yes,
So
certainly.
so I think for Evan, like he doesn't quite he doesn't see the full picture yet because he doesn't know exactly where the story is leading. But this is a very important part for the story because now like Zoro is stuck in a situation where he's gonna have to help this princess. Um, and when we first saw these characters, we didn't know like what their deal was. Now we see that Vivi and Igaram are here because of something to do with their kingdom. Um, so I don't want to say too much yet because we're going to talk a little bit more this volume, but uh, I was surprised the first time around to see that like they actually had that they were not who they said they were this whole time. So I was surprised by this reveal, and I think it's a fun one. But we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, we get a lot more nuggets on their backstory in this volume.
God,
I
I love
also
Mr.
like. What was that?
I love Mr. 8's hair so much.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at it again here,
Yeah,
and
it's
it's just
great.
like, oh, immaculate.
And I like how Nami doesn't skip a beat. Like
Nope.
as soon as money is involved, she is there ready to make a deal.
What's that? Money? It's like,
Classic
props.
Nami.
Yeah.
We'll do it for a billion berries.
Yeah.
So Nami.
But I also kind of feel like the arrival of Mr. Five and Miss Valentine kind of shows how mercenary Brokeworks is. Like they're ready to. They're not here to like help their own or like members, but they're here to essentially like assassinate them.
Yeah.
So it's very cutthroat and very much impersonal in that way. So it doesn't matter like, oh yeah, we know like even with the organization or whatever, they're like we're here because we're going to kill you. We're just doing our job. That's all it is to them.
Right. Yeah, because when they first showed up, it was like, oh, thank God you're here. We need help. And like, oh no, actually, we're here to kill you. So
although Mr. Nine, to his credit, he's ready to help his partner. So he's kind of going into the organization here. So kudos to him.
Even after he hears that about their true identity.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was pretty cool.
I do want to note. So I went with Nefertari for Vivi. It's one of those things again, L and R, where sometimes you don't know which one it is, but I think Nefertari is probably the more accurate translation. So that's what I go by. But again, it's one of those preference things. So if I say Nefertari, you can say Nefeltari. Either way it works. It's the same thing.
I'm pretty much always just gonna call her Vivi, so it probably won't come up for me too much. But yeah,
just noting that there.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other thoughts on this one?
It was funny seeing Mr. Five's reveal because like he was just like picking his nose. I'm like, what's this guy doing picking his nose? And I was like, oh, but wait, there's more.
He's getting armed.
He's loading his weapon. He's getting ammo.
All right, let's move along. Chapter 111, The Secret Criminal Organization. Igaram is shocked at the high amount Nami is demanding, though Nami makes her demands very clear, as they won't help unless they agree to the amount. Igaram reluctantly accepts the deal, so Nami orders Zoro to go save the princess. Zoro pushes back, wondering why he has to get involved, but Nami reminds him that he owes her interest from lending the money to buy the swords, even though he gave the money back. Nami agrees to waive Zoro's debt if he helps the princess. As Vivi and Karu try to flee the Brokeworks agents, Miss Monday steps up to help her. She is no match for Mr. 5. He shoots a booger at Vivi, but Zoro arrives in time to cut the booger in half as it harmlessly explodes off the sides. Thinking Zoro is still after her, Vivi tries to defend herself, but Zoro explains he's here to help her. Nami inquires more about Brokeworks with Igaram. He tells her that they are a secret organization whose ultimate goal is to create a utopia under Mr. Zero's vision. The closer an agent's name is to Zero, the more powerful they are. Luffy returns from using the bathroom, is shocked at what he sees. Luffy finds Zoro just as Mr. 5 and Miss Valentine are about to fight him. Zoro tells Luffy he doesn't need the help, but to Zoro's surprise, Luffy is here to fight him. So a little turn of events there.
Oh boy, what the heck's going on?
So like we're just talking about, with the organization, they the higher up in the number, well, I guess the lower in numbers, like the higher up in the organization are, the more powerful they are. So the closer to Mr. Zero, that means they're higher up in their tier. But we also find out that the leader is called Mr. Zero. That's his code name. And we kind of get an idea of what Brokeworks, what their intentions are, or at least what they're told. So they're trying to create a utopia. So they're trying to reshape the world kind of in their vision. But yeah, any thoughts on this one?
I love Luffy in the background, just like if I or was that yeah, he's just like nature calls at one point, and he's just like walking around with his giant stomach, and he's just like
Almost like kind of sleepwalking.
I think I'll go take another nap. It's just like he just doesn't care. He doesn't comprehend. He's just
like all this excitement going on around him. He's just kind of like oblivious to it.
yeah, it's like this little background environment. But then and his teeth go full vampire teeth when he's like, "What the heck about something?" Yeah. So.
Yeah, we get to see more of the Boom Boom Fruit power.
Yeah, and Zoro is infuriated that he had to cut one of his boogers in half.
That honestly was such a good shot. It's like such a badass cell with like the explosions happening around him, and he's all like amped up. And he's like, "I sliced your boogers in two." And he's so mad that he had to do that, but it's like a very badass cell, which I think is so funny.
Yeah, it's cool. Like when he does like the downward stab with a sword when he does cut it.
Very cool.
Yeah, that's a cool shot.
Yeah, such a badass scene, and then it was punctuated with "I sliced your boogers."
But I love the interaction with Nami and Zoro. How
Yes.
like Nami just kind of treats Zoro like her almost kind of like a bodyguard type person, like somebody that she can just kind of order around. Like she's kind of the brains of the operation, and Zoro's the muscle. And Zoro like Zoro has to like owe her money for the interest, even though he gave it back. Like, but Nami's like so conniving that way. It was like, oh yeah, you just give him the money back. You didn't need it, no problem. Like, no, you owe me money on top of that. So
yeah, plus interest.
Yeah, the interest is what got him.
Nami being Nami. And it ends with Luffy being pretty heated towards Zoro.
Yeah, not what I would have expected here.
Pretty heated.
Not sure what the instigating incident is.
I'm sure Luffy has a good reason though, right?
No doubt in my mind.
I love how Luffy has remained a sphere through this whole volume so far.
A perfect rotund sphere.
Perfect sphere.
I want an action figure of just this version of him. With optional like slab of meat to like put in his hand.
It's also nice to see the other mercenary or bounty hunters from Baroque Works sticking up for Vivi
Yeah.
As Vivi's making her escape, there's a lot of co-workers, I guess, stepping in and helping out. Like they know that she's not one of them, but they still want to stick up for her and help her escape.
Yeah, it might be like they've had more direct interaction with Vivi and Igaram.
Yep.
So for them, it's a more personal thing because they've come to know them or at least what they thought. But they're doing a somewhat noble thing here. Whereas Mr. Five and Miss Valentine are just like they were off doing their own thing, so they come in here like to them they're just numbers or they're just a job. So they'll just strike down anybody that's in their way.
Yeah, it's this weird kind of internal loyalty that's admirable, but also like ultimately doesn't seem like it's going to go very much farther to their sadly for them. But
Yeah.
I mean, they're trying their best.
I'm excited for what's to come. Knowing, turning the page and seeing that the next chapter is called Luffy versus Zoro, I'm like, all right, let's do it. Let's go.
Yeah, we'll get into it.
I appreciate that Igaram has had this entire conversation with Nami while like not moving from that exact position with his face in the ground like this at all, and he's just like, "Hello, yes, I will now explain to you my entire backstory while my chin is still like 3 inches into the dirt, like, and I'm bleeding from the scalp, like, yeah."
Did you mind wiping my brow for me real quick?
That'll cost you. Like, no doubt she would be like, that'll be another 500 berries right there.
He's like, oh, no, thanks. I'm all good. Yeah. Fine. The blood get my eye. It's okay.
I can feel it coagulating under my chin, but all right, fine, lady. Like...
All right, let's move on. Kobe and Tamepo's Chronicles of Toil, Volume 24. I'll deal with these two. Garp decides he'll take Kobe and Tamepo back to Navy HQ.
Well,
slow burn.
Must be in real trouble.
I guess so.
Okay, so let's get into the next chapter. Chapter 112, Luffy versus Zoro. Luffy shouts at Zoro for attacking the nice people who fed them. He doesn't want to hear Zoro's excuses, immediately launching an assault on his crewmate. Realizing Luffy won't listen, Zoro fights back. Mr. Five and Miss Valentine try to take advantage of the distraction, deciding to focus on their mission of assassinating Vivi, but Zoro knocks him out of the way when he kicks Luffy into them. Mr. Five says that they keep getting in their way, so since they're trying to kill each other, he offers to do it for them. Outside, Miss Valentine floats up, using her kilo fruit to change her weight. Not paying attention to her, Luffy drags an unconscious Mr. Five outside, now back to his regular weight from the exercise. Vivi is shocked to see Mr. Five has been defeated. Miss Valentine tries smashing Zoro by increasing her weight, but she misses when Zoro sidesteps away as he tries to tell Luffy this town is full of bounty hunters. Luffy doesn't believe bad people would feed them like that. The two crew members are evenly matched. Not happy with being ignored, Mr. Five gets up as he and Miss Valentine try to fight back. Annoyed at the interruption to their fight, Luffy and Zoro take them out in one attack.
This chapter was so good.
Some good stuff in here.
So good. I love the... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm so glad that Luffy stays rotund for at least the first half of the fight. And then a little exercise sure speeds up the digestion.
Yeah. So they just have like that like little like throwaway line to explain why like he's now back to normal.
This was such a fun chapter. I thought it was like laugh out loud funny when what's her name?
Valentine?
Yes, Ms. Valentine is explaining her kilo fruit and like launching her attack, and no one's listening. Like Zoro and Luffy are just in the zone. Neither of them are paying attention to her. Like, and she even like mentioned, she's like, "Aren't you paying attention to me? Like, don't forget about me." And she's like naming her elaborate attack. which is easily sidestepped by Zoro. Just like casually sidesteps it and continues to fight Luffy. I thought that was such a fun chapter in the way that like Luffy and Zoro are so blind, like so what's the word? Just like they have the blinders on. They're
vision,
in the
like,
zone. Like they can't think about anything else. They're just like,
yeah.
let's go.
Yeah, so they actually have like real threats attacking them.
Yeah.
And they're just like not even caring because they don't perceive them like as real threats. They're just so focused on their own quarrel here. So yeah.
Two devil fruit users as well. Like no, not like a pushover opponent. And they're just so determined on beating each other that like they don't even realize their presence, which is so great.
Yeah, Luffy defeats Mr. 5 off screen. Like that's how like insignificant
Yeah,
the
it
fight
doesn't
was.
even happen. Oh, so good.
It's like, all right, now we can get to the real fight.
We see him approach number 5, burp, and then the next time we see him, he's just dragging number 5 out by the collar. So badass.
And Zoro even puts the bandana on, so he's taking this
Yeah.
seriously too.
Extra serious.
That was a move.
And we've had Luffy kind of mention this in the past, how he said that people must be good if they fed somebody. He saw like Sanji feeding Gin, so he knew he had to be a good person. So Luffy logic is like, people feeding me like means you're a good person. So he can't like fathom if like the people that fed him like that like they would be like betraying him. Like he can't like comprehend that. So he just kind of doesn't listen to what Zoro's trying to say.
Yeah. I love Zoro's line, just like, I'm busy. Like
and like just good. Zoro's general reactions, like the way like Luffy's yelling at him for like he said, it was like the townspeople welcomed us, they fed us and showered us with kindness. He went and chopped them up, and he's just like, well, yeah, but.
And then Vivi immediately, can he really be that dense?
Yeah, Zoro's like, come on, dude, like seriously,
put the pieces together, like.
Mrs. Valentine's whole attack where she's like, listen to me, I have the power to change my weight, like I can go from this way to this way, and like I love that.
Like so desperately trying to be like the main villain of this fight, and just not happening.
She had her elevator pitch for this move and just like couldn't get it out in time.
Like I spent the whole trip here preparing my monologues and explaining my moves, and it was all for nothing.
Yep. Yeah, that chapter was a lot of fun.
All right. Any other thoughts on this one?
Good times. Let's hope this calms down soon, though, before the entire town is destroyed.
Okay, next part of the cover story, Koby and Helmeppo's Chronicles of Toil, Volume 25. Koby and Helmeppo go to Navy headquarters. Koby and Helmeppo travel on Garp's ship to be brought to Navy HQ.
Snail's pace.
Oh, burn. Slow burn.
Slow burn.
The next one's going to be Koby and Helmeppo step off the ship.
Koby and Helmeppo put on new uniforms.
Still on the way. These things take time.
Koby and Helmeppo stop to tie their shoes. We see the trend.
Yeah.
All right. Chapter 113. It's all right. Vivi is astonished that Luffy and Zoro were able to defeat their officer agent so easily. They are ready to finish their fight as Nami intervenes to stop them. Nami scolds them for jeopardizing their opportunity at the Billion-Berry reward. Luffy laughs things off after they explain to him how the town really was after his bounty. Luffy thought Zoro was mad that they didn't have the dish he wanted. Vivi thanks them for saving her life, but she explains to them that it wouldn't be possible to grant them a reward for 1 billion berries. She goes on to explain that her kingdom of Alabasta was once peaceful, but has recently been plagued by rebellions. She found out Baroque Works was stirring up these conflicts, so she decided to infiltrate the organization herself, along with Igaram. Nami is confused as she thought the goal of Baroque Works was to create a utopia. But Vivi clarifies that it's a ruse to mask their true intentions of taking over Alabasta. Luffy asks who the leader is, but Vivi says she couldn't possibly reveal the identity of Crocodile, one of the 7 warlords of the sea. Oops. Unfortunately, the Unluckies witness Vivi slipping the identity of their leader. Nami panics and says she's backing out of the deal since Crocodile has no idea what she looks like. Mr. 13 draws up a very accurate sketch of Nami and Zoro and takes off with Miss Friday. So much for that plan. Luffy and Zoro are eager to face the challenge. Igaram arrives dressed like Miss Wednesday so he can act as a decoy. The plan is for him to take the Eternal Log Post straight to Alabasta so that Luffy and his crew can escort Vivi along with the Grand Line the long way back to Alabasta. Igaram sets off, leaving Vivi in the hands of the Straw Hats. Before he can get far, his ship explodes. Nami tries to comfort Vivi, reassuring her that they'll get her back to Alabasta as Luffy goes to gather Usopp and Sanji so they can make their escape.
I fucking love
so
this
much
chapter.
happened.
I love this chapter. There's so many
Yeah,
gags,
that's a good one.
so many good
So much
stuff,
happens.
so much lore and name drops and stuff.
Yep.
You just told us. The bird and the otter. Who are they?
And I love Nami's reaction, how she stops and just like admires, like, oh, like nice job. That's very
Nice
accurate.
job. That's very accurate.
And then she comes back like, oh, like so much for that.
Well, never mind.
I also love that the epic battle of Zoro and Luffy to the death, and the winner is Nami.
Nami, yeah.
double punch Nami. I love Nami's role in this fight, like her stepping in and just being like, knock it off. Like I feel like it's classic Nami.
Well, again, her concern was that they were going to ruin their chance of getting the reward. So she was still thinking about the money. She was like, why are you guys fighting? She's like, stop, you guys are going to ruin the good thing we have going here.
I loved that when she stepped in. That was great.
Yeah. I just want to point out, I think it's interesting to compare how Luffy believed Nami and gave Nami the benefit of the doubt during the Arlong Park arc. And, even though Nami basically he was told that Nami tried to kill Usopp, like he didn't believe it and gave Nami, the benefit of the doubt. And here Zoro gets a different treatment from Luffy, where Luffy is just straight up going to beat him up and not letting Zoro try to explain things. We're giving Zoro, not thinking Zoro would have had a good reason for doing this.
I guess
he makes up his own excuse for it. He kind of has his own. He makes up a reason that Zoro would have done this, and for him that was enough to justify fighting Zoro.
But it's funny because the reason that he gave was Zoro made a good point. He's like, that's the reason that you would come up with, not something I would come up with. Because it was like they didn't have the dish that you wanted to eat or something like that.
Yeah.
It was something super random and something that Luffy would totally say.
Right.
I thought that was kind of funny that he kind of imposed his own beliefs onto Zoro there.
Yeah, he filled in the gaps very incorrectly. But I just think it's an interesting comparison how he reacted very differently to Zoro, also one of his crew members, compared to Nami, who arguably gave a lot more cause for him to not trust her.
Mm-hmm.
So Zoro's been very loyal to Luffy this whole time.
I'm at the risk of playing, I don't know, Navy's advocate here.
No, by all means, go for it.
I guess the only argument I largely agree with you for what it's worth, but I'm also, I guess Luffy didn't see Usopp being stabbed. He just heard about it versus he saw all the villagers just slashed up.
So the aftermath.
So I suppose there's a bit more, but yeah, it is kind of just I don't know. Yeah, he just kind of
well, he woke up
might be a bit biased.
And then asked the witnesses what happened, and they were all like, "Yeah, this guy with a sword came out of nowhere and attacked all of us." He didn't know that he was talking to a bunch of bounty hunters. He thought he was talking to a bunch of people that, like Joel said, had just fed him and gained his trust.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I just want to point that out. Not saying this is wrong or anything like that. In Luffy's mind, it all made sense to him. And the bounty hunters could have been well, they probably just said the very basic details of Luffy, again, filled in the blanks. So yeah, he didn't have the full story. So Luffy already had like his own like idea that like the bounty hunters were not actually bounty hunters, um that they were just regular people. But then Zoro does mention that they were bounty hunters, and he kind of just like, shuts them down. So yeah, again, I know Luffy's anger kind of got the better of him in this case. And again, not expecting Luffy to be like a saint. Like Luffy is by all means not like a perfect person, doesn't always have perfect logic. I just think I just wanted to point
Understatement of the
out that we see a
century.
very different reaction to Zoro than
I
we've seen with
agree.
like Nami.
It is a little off-putting.
It was extreme to the extent where he wouldn't hear out Zoro's side of things.
Yeah.
Like he was so amped up that he attacked first and was like, "I don't want to hear it," and just like
Right.
You think it's like
full.
it's an after effect of just being incredibly full? He just gets a little
Yeah.
crouchy when he's super full, or something like. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting things that are mentioned in this chapter. Did you guys want to go over anything else here?
Crocodile's a
Pretty
cool
much.
name.
Mm.
But the second I've said that now, I know two anthropomorphic dressed animals are going to put out a hit on me or something like.
The unluckies.
Yeah, so we get the name drop for another member of the Seven Warlords. So we now know of three of the seven.
Spooky.
Still only seen one though.
Wait, so who do we know? We know
Mihawk.
Mihawk. Was it Arlong? Arlong knew
Jinbei.
What was it?
Yeah, Jinbei, the
Jinbei.
fish
So
man.
Jinbei, Mihawk, and Mr. Crocodile.
Yeah.
Sir Crocodile.
Sir Crocodile, aka Mr. Zero.
Right.
We also are introduced to the concept of the eternal log pose.
Mm.
So the way that the log poses have worked so far is that they have to kind of calibrate to the next island. So you have to kind of wait a little bit for the GPS to figure out like the satellites where they go. In One Piece, it's the magnetic fields, but the eternal log poses are set to one specific destination. So no matter where you are, it always leads back to the same destination. So that way you have to go through every single island of the Grand Line every time you try to go somewhere. It's basically going to be a shortcut. You can just take this route directly to this island.
Yeah, it was a cool tidbit. Although I don't know what you'd be getting into with the direct route might not be the best route.
Which we've seen with Igaram, unfortunately, met a pretty rough end here.
Yeah, that was sad.
Poor hair man.
Yeah. But yeah, I love his disguise. He's like, and then Luffy's like, "You look really good, mister."
He said it a couple times too.
Yeah.
He made it very clear that he was a fan of the new look.
Yeah. So he even has like the outfit he draws on, and he does his hair. But even his hair still has like the curls like at the back.
Yep. Oh, I love the moment when Nami's like, "Well, they haven't seen my face, so I'm in the clear." And then the little otter literally does 3 very accurate drawings of Nami, Luffy, and Zoro.
Yeah.
Oh, that was such a funny moment.
She claps and laughs.
Yeah.
She's like, "Wow, you're good."
Credit to Vivi for offering 500 million berries to Nami. Like, I got about 500,000 Sarah saved up. Like,
But yeah, we also find out that Crocodile had a bounty of 80 million berries before, he gained the amnesty by joining the Seven Warlords. So that's the highest bounty we've seen so far.
I was going to say that's got to be the highest we've seen.
I liked that guy.
Yeah.
Of course, Usopp and Sanji are still asleep.
Yeah.
Not for long, but
Yeah. Time to wake up, everybody. Let's go.
Come on.
I do like how Nami also starts to show like a little sympathy for Vivi here.
Mhm.
Yeah, because she up to this point she's only been thinking about the money, but now she's seeing like Vivi's like her. She just lost like somebody who was close to her, and she kind of recognizes that, and she's like trying to reassure her. And so she kind of changes her tune a little bit here. So kudos to Nami here.
Yeah, that was a heartwarming moment.
Yeah.
Even a thief can grow a heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are moments.
Any other thoughts on this one before we move on?
Poor Iram, time for vengeance.
Yeah, we hardly knew ye.
Or,
I also wanted to just mention in the SBS here, there was a few panels that were cut out. Nothing crazy, but Usopp had gotten new goggles. So he got these sniper goggles. So we'll actually see him have these. But it's something. It's a small detail that like you might not notice, but it's just kind of like interesting to see that he got these during lockdown. I think the anime actually has this in the filler episodes. I think they actually put this part in there too. They had like a little bit more with lockdown and more with, like Sanji and stuff. They had like other things. But yeah,
that was a cool SBS.
Mm.
And I wish it was in the manga because that's a cool little scene.
Yeah.
And it was like an outfit change for him,
Yeah.
like
Yeah, so it just kind of happens like off screen in the actual
he really likes them because they flip up and down.
Yeah. I think it's funny.
I like these goggles.
He also asks, "Do you have any raw eggs?" And then they say, "Try a supermarket."
Worth a try.
Yeah.
The supermarket.
Because then we do see him like
Pirate
actually in
supermarket.
the manga looking at the eggs. So that's a funny little callback there.
Stuff.
Okay, let's move on. Kobe and Temeples Chronicles of Toil, Volume 26. Chores, and more chores at Navy headquarters.
Slow burn.
I was gonna say.
Kobe and Temepo are back on duty as chore boys at their new post. Okay. Yeah, easy enough. Chapter 114, The Course. The Straw Hats regroup at the Mary. Luffy asks Vivi how many agents will be sent after them. Vivi says they have up to 2,000 agents, and they will probably send as many as they need to in order to protect their leader's identity. As they're about to leave Whiskey Peak, a mysterious woman appears on their ship. She tells Vivi she mockingly tells her that she met her friend Mr. 8 earlier. Vivi recognizes the woman as Miss All Sunday, the vice president and supreme commander of Baroque Works, as well as Mr. Zero's partner. She was the only one who knew their leader's identity, so Vivi had followed her and found out. Miss All Sunday reveals that she actually intentionally let Vivi follow her and continues to mock her. Usopp and Sanji prepare to attack the woman, but she uses her mysterious devil fruit powers to knock them over. She uses her powers to take Luffy's hat, which makes him angry. She tells him that their situation is unfortunate and it gets worse as their next destination is Little Garden. Baroque Works won't have to lift a finger as the island will take care of them. Miss All Sunday returns Luffy's hat, then gives them an eternal log post set for the Island of Nothing, only one stop away from Alabasta, that'll let them bypass Little Garden. Not even the agents know about this route, so they won't be followed. As the crew tries to decide what her motives are and if this is a trap, Luffy smashes the log post, telling them that she doesn't decide what course they will take. Miss All Sunday says she'll see them again someday and takes her leave on her giant turtle Bunchi. Vivi is worried she is putting them all in danger, but Luffy's not worried. Next stop, Little Garden.
Luffy, god damn it.
Luffy has to do things his way.
You and your pride.
Yeah. So what'd you guys think of this one?
I love the opening of this chapter when Luffy grabs Usopp by the nose and Sanji by the foot and just drags them out. Not
Doesn't
a
like wake them up like,
care
hey,
for
let's
their
go.
well-being, just pulls them out.
Is there any way to drag Usopp other than the nose? Like it's a handle. Like it's made for this.
My
He
nose is
grabs
gonna
their
break
most
off.
prized possessions, Usopp's nose and Sanji's leg, and just pulls them out of there, like tearing the walls apart. Just like tears them out.
I like how Luffy says, "Uh-oh, they went back to sleep," because he knocked them out from dragging them around.
And then we get introduced to Miss All Sunday.
Yes.
So mysterious, shrouded in mystery. And she appears on the boat, and then I love the moment when they all kind of like draw. Like Zoro's drawing his sword, Luffy's ready to go. Usopp has his slingshot at the ready, and Sanji pulls out a pistol. And
Nami even has her staff
Sanji's
ready. Yeah.
like, "Hey, you know what you're doing, right?" And Sanji's like, "Not really." That was hilarious.
Yeah, and then he realizes his mistake when he finds out that she's beautiful. So he's like, "Oh, my bad. Did not mean to do that."
That's all
Yeah.
it takes.
Classic Sanji. But then she appears to have some sort of telekinetic powers, and she's moving objects without touching them. So
yeah, so
what's that about?
Not only is she mysterious, her power is mysterious, so we don't know how they work.
Seemingly very strong too to throw Sanji and Usopp to the ground.
Yeah. And she takes Luffy's hat, so we know how much that hat means to him. So
yeah, that was a moment.
He is not happy, to put it lightly.
Not happy.
I mean, like I understand the joke of putting it on her hat, something, but
Hat on a hat.
it just doesn't quite work.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, she's just kind of toying with them a little bit.
But very nonchalantly and very confidently.
Yeah.
Like, you can tell she's powerful just by how like confident and nonchalant she is.
Yeah, and she's super high in the organization. She's
right,
like Mr. Zero's partner, and she gets the title of vice president and supreme commander. So, like, pretty much like as high as you can go without being crocodile.
She might as well be second in command.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah. So, I love Luffy at the end. Wow, it's a turtle. It's a big one. And like while Vivi is despairing and like Nami's still angry at him, he's just like, "Hey, look, it's a turtle."
Never a dull moment with Luffy.
Never a dull moment.
Yeah, but I mean, we don't know what this woman's intentions were. So it seems like she's the one that assassinated Mr. 8. And it seems like she's also the one that let Vivi find out who Crocodile's identity is. So like, what's her game here? It seems like she might be trying to help them or lure them into a trap. So we don't know what to make of this character.
Right.
So very mysterious, and very ambiguous, like why she even shows up here.
And she's like, "I don't even need to take you guys on because you're going to a little garden, which is gonna finish you off. I don't even need to finish you off."
And I love how Nami. Go ahead.
Little garden. I mean, that sounds fine. That sounds pleasant.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
sure it'll be fine. Yeah.
Couldn't possibly.
Just gonna water some flowers, take a stroll through the woods. I'm sure it'll be great.
But I love how Nami reacts to Luffy smashing the log pose. He's like, "Are you crazy?" and kicks him right in the face. Just gave us an easy route. Then Luffy, very much in character, stands his ground and says, "No, like I decide where we're going. We want to go on the adventurous route." So yeah, he's not gonna be manipulated like this. So he's going to do what he wants to do. For better.
Luffy's the guy that goes to a ski thing and he's like, "What's that? The bunny hill? I'm taking the XXX super ultra course immediately." Like,
it's like, Luffy, you've never gone skiing before. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
And then the very end of the chapter, we see like this giant tiger, and then next to it we see like these giant footprints.
Yep.
So that's what we're gonna be
Well,
up against.
forewarning.
Yeah. So a little ominous ending here.
Yep.
Spooky.
All right, are we ready to move on?
Let's move on.
Next part of the cover story. Kobe and Himeppo's Chronicles of Toil, Volume 27. No time for sleep. It's train, train, train. Kobe and Himeppo continue to train even during the nighttime.
All right.
Snail's pace.
They're going real hard.
This though, honestly, it looks like some improvements are being made here. Honestly, like I mean, holy shit, they're going for it. So
Yeah.
you know, we still don't know much about
an inverted like sit up. That's impressive.
We don't know much
Yeah.
about Garp, but I mean, Kobe's getting freaking swole, man.
Yeah.
Look at Kobe. Even took his glasses off.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, they're at Navy HQ now, so they were brought here to train. So it's not like they're being punished for what they did before. So
Maybe
it
the
seems
chores
like
were the punishment, but yeah.
yeah, but it seems like they're here to continue their training. They're not like they weren't brought here to like go to prison or something like that or to be tried. Like I think Garp saw something in these characters and decided to kind of take them in under his wing. So I think that's what we're kind of seeing develop here.
That's nice.
Yeah, they seem to be making the most of their situation, and like they seem very motivated to be better.
Yeah. So I mean, again, the cover story, like I was saying, it's going at a slow pace, but again, when you like do it, if you like were to go and read these like one page after another, like it would probably go a little quicker, and it would be like, okay, this makes sense. We're going very much step by step, but because like we're reading it between like chapters and between volumes, it's going to be a little bit slower.
Yeah,
but
it's
overall,
slow,
I mean, we're
happening.
getting a little story. Yeah, we're it's not meant to be like this grand momentous thing. Like even like the buggy cover story was like there was like some like slower chapters in there, and like at the end it kind of picked up a little bit, and like we have like a full picture in hindsight, but like leading up to it is kind of like Buggy's on a raft, like Buggy's attacked by a crab.
Buggy's on a raft.
Buggy's attacked by a giant bird.
Yeah, so things like that. Just a few comments there.
Yeah. No, it's going slow, but I do like what's happening. I like the progress that's being made.
Exactly.
Me too.
Because I love Kobe, and I really hope that he becomes like a main character again.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, he's got to keep training.
Got to keep training. Running without glasses. I mean.
Okay, chapter 115, Little Garden of Adventure. Luffy thinks it's going to suddenly start to snow again, but Vivi tells him that the beginning of the Grand Line was so hectic due to the conflicting magnetic fields of the 7 various starting islands of the Grand Line at Reverse Mountain. Things should be a little calmer, but they shouldn't let their guard down. The crew relaxes, but Vivi is hesitant to join in. After an encounter with a giant dolphin, the Merry makes its arrival at Little Garden. They wonder why it's called the Little Garden when all the plants seem large and overgrown. They start to hear animal sounds from the jungle. A giant lizard bird flies above. They feel a giant rumble. Then a giant tiger seems to have been killed by something. Nami and Usopp decide that it would be safer to wait on the ship and let the log post reset. But Luffy begins to shake. He tells Sanji to pack him a lunchbox. He smells adventure and can no longer contain his excitement. Vivi decides to tag along, thinking this would be better than brooding around on the ship. As they set off, Zoro decides he'll wander around a bit as well. Sanji tells him to hold on and suggests that he bring back something that they can eat. Zoro insults Sanji, telling him that he'll bring back something Sanji would never be able to kill himself. Not wanting to be outdone by Zoro, he challenges him to a contest to bring back the biggest catch. Nami and Usopp realize that they were left alone without the protection of one of the stronger crewmates. Nami also suddenly remembers why she thinks she's heard of Little Garden in one of her books. Meanwhile, Luffy and Vivi encounter a massive dinosaur. Vivi says that every island on the Grand Line is different, each having its own ecosystem and culture. Due to the climate of this island, it never changed beyond the dinosaur age. Luffy decides to jump onto the giant dinosaur's neck and ride it. Nami has now found the book and remembers why it's called the Little Garden. The plants are small compared to its inhabitants, and it's called the Land of Giants.
Oh, little garden. It all makes sense now.
Oh, the garden's little, but the inhabitants aren't.
Yeah. Well, might be a bit more tricky than we thought.
Welcome to Little Garden.
Little garden.
Cue the theme. Yeah. So, what do you think about this one?
I love the opening of this chapter. The like happy-go-lucky, all is well, free like drinks on the drinks on the boat. Like let's have fun. And then seeing Luffy like so antsy that he's shaking that he has to get off his boat. He's like, I smell an adventure. Pack me a lunchbox.
Yeah.
Which I love
Yeah.
that. Pirate lunchbox is by definition a veggie-free box
Lunch for quick energy.
Yeah, I've been liking these editor notes, and I think this volume in particular had a lot more than usual.
Yeah,
I've been liking the editor notes.
editor notes have been good.
Yeah, so with
the little garden.
Yeah, so we see like a contrast to how they're trying to start with the Grand Line, like how the weather kept changing like every 2 seconds, and like they're getting turned around. So it seemed like it was gonna be impossible to navigate, and it's still gonna be pretty tough. But like we can see that there was an explanation for why it was so like topsy turvy at first, was because there were so many magnetic fields in that area, all like at Reverse Mountain, so it's kind of throwing things out of whack. So things are a little bit more stabilized over here.
It's reassuring.
Yeah. And we get a nice explanation from Vivi, kind of giving us a little bit more insight with the Grand Line. We're going to be seeing all different types of islands. So every island is going to be kind of like its own little unique kind of like a ecosystem kind of thing.
Yeah, that's cool. That leads to a lot of, I feel like that's exciting to hear because it leads to a lot of cool creative possibilities with future islands.
A lot of potential.
A lot of potential, exactly.
Yeah.
I love Vivi's like, are they supposed to be doing that? They're all like drinking on the deck, and Naomi's got like a drink in her mouth, like, you want one?
Might as well.
Yeah. But I do love this moment where everyone's on the ship kind of just like relaxing and enjoying themselves and just being together. And I feel like we've kind of reached the point in the story where like I think East Blue was a lot of establishing the crew and like getting the team together and building up everyone's backstories and kind of like just like getting introduced to everyone.
Yeah.
And then Baroque Works has really been like our first time seeing this crew like functioning together, like as a functioning crew of established characters. And I think it's been really enjoyable. I feel like everyone kind of brings something to the table, and
for sure,
there's like different dynamics between different people. We kind of see the rivalry starting between Sanji and Zoro. I mean, it's been happening for a while, but like I like that they keep building upon that.
Yeah, it's definitely escalating.
Yeah. And Luffy just kind of being aloof the whole time. Like he just is always like kind of doing his own thing, and
or like a Luffy.
A Luffy. He's always a Luffy.
I love the giant dolphin. It's huge.
Like they don't know like how big it is.
It's huge.
It's huge. I love how like detailed and like spooky when they're first coming into the little garden area, the trees are.
Yeah.
It's like chee chee chee, whap 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 whap. All the sound effects, it's good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the crew starts to hear like all like these things and it starts like escalate, and it's like to the point where like Luffy like can't contain himself.
Love it.
Yeah, like we talked about like Luffy's like very like energetic. He's like, I can't wait. And then like he like we see like he's got like the big smile on his face when he tells Sanji he needs that lunchbox. So, like he's like shaking like in his spot. Yeah, and then like he's like, all right, I'm ready to go. He's but then Vivi is like, hey, let me go too. So I mean, pretty brave of Vivi.
I think Vivi has shown multiple moments of bravery, throughout this volume.
I also want to point out here we have another instance where Sanji calls Zoro by his name. Zoro has yet to use Sanji's name.
That's right.
He may never do so.
I love that.
So yeah, just pointing that out. The count is still 0 for Zoro using Sanji's name.
That's hilarious. It's so fitting for their rivalry too.
Yeah. Just like such
Sanji,
disrespect.
them be fighting words.
Has Sanji ever acknowledged the fact that Zoro has not ever called him by his name? Like, yeah,
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think he actually says it. Yeah. I feel like also Sanji
challenge
pointed
you
it
to
out.
a hunt.
Yeah, I think if Sanji pointed it out, it would be like acknowledging Zoro disrespecting him even more. So I feel like he doesn't want to go that far. Doesn't want to get Zoro's satisfaction.
I also truly love the moment where Usopp and Nami are still on the ship, and they look at each other and both have the realization that they're both totally useless, and they're just waiting on the ship.
So wait, you're not gonna protect me? Wait, neither are you.
Yeah, Usopp says you're useless, and Nami says same to you.
Yeah.
That was so funny.
Then Luffy's first reaction to seeing the dinosaurs, oh, let me ride it.
Yeah. So fitting. So fitting. Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, and then at the very end, we see that something has found Nami and Usopp. And it scares them.
Yeah, I love how Oda's doing that, that moment of fear or realization where someone's face is entirely shaded and their eyes are glazed over. He does it with Nami at the very end of this chapter to great effect. I really like that emote or that style.
Yeah.
It really gets the message across. It's like the expressionless fear. It's like the moment of realization.
Like you said. Yeah, it's like
a moment of realization where you're just you can't process it, but you're just completely stunned.
Yeah, the sheer terror, yeah.
The sheer terror,
that point in between fight and flight where you're just like,
yes,
I'm not gonna fight, and I'm just going to stand here and hope that this is a dream.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a realization moment.
Yeah.
I love that. I think that registers and reads really well when he.
Yeah, for sure. I agree.
And he does it quite a bit, so I like it.
Yeah, very effectively.
Yep.
Okay, ready to move on?
Ready.
Kobe and Helmeppo's Chronicles of Toil, Volume 28. Day after day, train, train, train. Kobe and Helmeppo continue to train as they spar against each other.
Slow burn.
A little intense.
Is it though?
Yeah, look at them. They're all beat up.
Yeah, no, it is.
They got lumps.
That's a lot of lumps.
And yeah, look at the ferocity on Kobe's face.
They have an equal amount of bumps on their head, so they must be of equal strength.
Seems relatively
They have
evenly
both
matched.
received 5 lumps each.
Just trading blows, going back and forth.
But Helmeppo is going the dual sword route.
Yeah, I saw that.
So we'll see. Maybe he'll one day try the 3-sword style.
Start with the 2. See how
He's
that
seen
goes.
it up close and personal before, so maybe he'll try it out.
All right, let's get into chapter 116. Big. Zoro and Sanji carry out their hunt as they take on large dinosaurs. Usopp and Nami are petrified as they're faced with a giant named Broggy, who asks if they have any ale, which they tell them that they do. They tell him that they do. A dinosaur bites Broggy in the behind, so he mightily chops its head off, shouting he is the mightiest warrior from Elbaf. He invites the two to feast with him. Luffy is enjoying the sights from atop of the long neck of the dinosaur. Phoebe warns him to be careful, even though this one doesn't eat meat, but Luffy takes a tumble and is gobbled by the creature. Another giant shows up and chops the dinosaur's head right off, saving Luffy in the process. This one introduces himself to Luffy as Dorry, the mightiest warrior from Elbaf. He invites Luffy and Vivi to join him. Back over at Broggy's camp, Usopp and Nami are afraid that they're going to be in themselves. Nami musters up the courage to ask the giant how long it will take for the log post to recalibrate. Broggy tells her 1 year and to make themselves comfortable. Luffy is getting along with Dorry and asks why he's here alone. Dorry says back in his village they live by a code. He goes on to explain that the god of Elbaf will decide who is right in a dispute by the results of a battle. He's on the island currently fighting another giant, but they've been unable to settle their debt even after 100 years. When Vivi questions what the point is after all that time, a volcano erupts, signaling it's time for two giants to battle. Luffy understands that at this point, it's a battle of honor, and the original reason for the fight doesn't matter anymore as the two titans clash. So pretty epic.
So epic. The reason we fight is long forgotten. That was such a cool line. While they're in the heat of battle. So cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so what'd you guys think of this one?
I remember this is a like a personal favorite of mine, these two characters as a kid. I was just like, oh yeah, sure. Two Viking giants. Yep, I'm on board for this. Like and yeah, like the whole idea that we just like, I don't know why we're fighting. It's been so long at this point, and we just keep doing it. Like
it's just kind of what they do now.
Yeah, it's just
very epic.
It's a basic, but it's a good concept, and I do love that. What is like with you have ale, we have a little. Play dead.
Yeah, so Broggy is what scared Usopp and Nami at the end of the last chapter, that shadowy figure. But you know, he seems to be a friendly fellow. But I love when he gets like bit in the butt, like how at first like he yells right in their face, so it seems like he's like you know, becoming like rageful at them, but it's just because he got bit in the butt by the dinosaur.
Yeah.
So he's still like friendly and everything, but like he shows like he's not one to mess with, and he just cuts the dinosaur's head right off.
I love the moment where Luffy jumps on the back of that like brontosaurus looking dinosaur. And it's like, it's fine. He doesn't even know I'm up here. And then all of a sudden the dinosaur like flicks him up and swallows him whole. But then the dinosaur is beheaded also in that exact moment. And as Luffy is being swallowed, he pops out of the decapitated head of the dinosaur. And
good timing on Dorry's part. Like if Dorry mistimed that slash, then Luffy would have been gone there too.
Yeah, wouldn't have even seen it coming.
The end of One Piece.
End of One Piece.
And I love how both giants introduce themselves as the mightiest warrior from Elbaf.
Yes.
So that they both perceive themselves as the mightiest.
Yep. Yeah, this was a great intro for both giants.
Also, just a little tidbit here. Elbaf is Fable spelled backwards.
Oh.
Even though they use PH.
I did not know that. I didn't think of that. Yeah.
I think I've also seen it with an F at the end, but either way, you know, technically it would be Fable backwards. So.
I love the scene when Luffy is dining with Dorry and is literally sitting on top of this giant like hunk of dinosaur meat and is just eating away at it. It'd be like sitting on a car of meat. It'd be like an entire car's worth of meat sitting on top of that car and then slowly eating the car.
I have no doubt that he'll finish it in time.
Yeah, for sure.
He will finish it, and he'll go back to his sphere form.
Exactly.
He's fallen in love with this volume, so his best.
I was trying to see if we see the progress of the meat, but I think like it looks like it's a little bit more eaten in the next panel, but it's not like super noticeably different.
He puts a dent in it though.
There's a big dent. Yeah,
like way more than his own body's weight worth of meat.
But it's funny because Luffy traded his lunchbox for this giant meat. So Dorry's enjoying the lunchbox, even though he's like, it's a little small, but it wasn't bad.
Not very filling though.
And Luffy's like, "You better like it, or I'll fight you." And Dorry's like,
Yeah.
"And I love you, kid. You're great."
Yeah. So they're really hitting it off.
They really are.
They are jolly giants.
Yeah.
It's just like it's like a simple premise that is like we had like, I mean, compared to the like conspiracy aspects of Baroque works that we were just dealing with, and like secret princesses and secret, it's like it's two giants on an island, they're fighting, and we're just having fun with them. Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of like a refreshing, like, not that I dislike the conspiracy wacky Baroque work stuff, but it was a cool, like, kind of like change of pace after that whole arc, kind of, to be just like where we currently are, at least, is just two giants fighting on an island. So.
Yeah, things were getting pretty intense, like story wise. It was getting very dramatic. And like you said, we kind of took like a step back, and we have a change of pace here, and new location. So it's like, very much a spirit of adventure, and they're laughing, having a good time. Everybody's feasting over here. So yeah, so it's so far things are going, they're going good. Except it seems like they're going to be here for a year.
That's a
So,
bit of an issue, but I mean, it seems like worse places to hang out for a year, I suppose.
although we see like a pile of human bones that make Nami and
uh,
Usopp a little worried that they're going to be the next meal, but it's because like a lot of the humans don't really survive here that long. But I'm sure a lot of them don't really get along with giants as well either.
Yeah, the giants are surprisingly docile to their new guests, and even welcome them as guests. They both make the comment of like, we have guests, like, let's drink beer and eat meat.
Yeah.
They
And
feel
I
like
love
they're
that
host-
Luffy just gets it. Like, he gets like their like the whole like warrior code and the battle going on between them. So to him, he finds it like really interesting. Like Vivi doesn't really see it. It's also kind of like when like Sanji was like telling Zoro like he didn't get like why he would go fight this guy. It's like he was obviously outmatched, and like Luffy decided not to interfere. So like Luffy kind of respects that, and like Zoro understands that. But like Vivi in this case doesn't get the warrior aspect of this.
Yeah, I feel like we've talked about that being a strong suit of Luffy, like seeing other people and being like, they need that. Like these people need to be doing this, and like I can respect that, and I'm gonna like not try to like intervene or take part in this. Like I'm just gonna let them do their thing and respect that.
Exactly.
Like he gives people their moments. Like when his crewmates are fighting or things like that, like he won't step in because he knows that if he stepped in, Zoro would be like, "Get the hell out of here! Like this is my fight," Or Sanji, the same thing, Yeah, I think like a good leader quality, a good quality of the captain.
For sure.
Agreed.
Letting other people have their moment.
Hey, any other thoughts before we move on to the last chapter of the volume? All right. The last chapter, chapter 117, Dorry and Broggy. Over on the island of Kukor, Mr. 3 enjoys his time off between assignments with his partner, Miss Goldenweek. Mr. 3 notices Miss Goldenweek has been staring at a piece of paper for the past few days. She says it's an assignment from the boss, to which Mr. 3 shouts at her for not saying something sooner. He has been informed Mr. 5 has been defeated, though he was hoping Mr. 2 would be defeated as well, so he can move up the ranks. Back over in the little garden, the two giants are evenly matched. Usopp looks on in amazement, astonished by the battle of two warriors to the death. He wants to be a brave warrior of the sea, just like these two. He hopes that someday he will get the chance to visit Elbaf. The battle ends in yet another draw, and the two laugh. Broggy offers his old friend some ale that the Straw Hats had given him. Back over at Dorry's camp, he tells Vivi that it's true the log post would take a year to reset, and most humans die here before it can. He has the log post set to Elbaf, which is what the giants are fighting over. Luffy says it would be no good even if he was able to take it from him. He just wants to go to the next island, not Elbaf. As Dorry drinks the ale, it explodes in his stomach. Dorry survives, but knows that the ale came from their ship, and Broggy would never resort to a cheap trick. He accuses Luffy of the treachery, so Luffy prepares to fight back against the giant.
Oh no! And they were having such a great friendship too.
Yeah, right? to kind of end the volume on a bummer note, the cliffhanger.
I think those Giants have just never had an IPA before.
It was just caught him off guard.
Just a little too hoppy. They couldn't handle it.
You tell him, Evan.
I also love Mr. 3, specifically in this cell when he's like,
Yeah.
secret
They would
identity,
never figure out
give
my
it
secret
away.
identity.
as he has a massive 3
It's
hairstyle.
it is
So
how
funny.
could they ever figure it out?
I love that.
And
Yeah, that's so great.
I'm always a fan of villains that are just like evil. I possess the power of evil. It's like, all right, so you're just rolling with it. You're just a bad guy and you know it. Like,
We see like Usopp resonating with
Yeah.
the Vikings in this battle, which totally checks out for his, his treasure. Like at one point he says, what was it? He mentioned something about like glory and honor being a treasure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was this chapter.
Yeah.
He said, I want honor and glory, and I thought that was like a great moment for Usopp, kind of like almost like seeing these two warriors as like his idols and people that he looks up to, and he mentions wanting to visit their island at some point, and I feel like they're kind of like heroes to him, and so that was a cool moment to see Usopp kind of like realizing his, or seeing like a manifestation of his goals.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, this is definitely a pivotal chapter for Usopp.
Yeah.
It really kind of solidifies, like he gets like an actual vision of like what he wants to be. Like he announced, like earlier when they were about to enter the Grand Line, that his goal was to be a brave warrior of the sea. So he's seeing that in action, and like this is what he had in mind when he said that, like what I want to be. So yeah, this is like really important for him to see this in action, and he sees like just like the skill, like how evenly matched they are, and they've been doing this for like 100 years, and like he's like just completely like blown away by like how skilled they are at fighting each other in this case.
And you also see the connection between them, because like they're giving it their all and like fighting to the death, but they're also like there's a lot of respect there, and they're calling each other brother, and they're also speaking to each other as if they were close friends.
Yeah.
So it kind of speaks to that, like kind of getting to know each other through battle, and
Yeah.
after having battled for so long, they've become like old friends.
Yeah.
So I think that was really cool, and something that Usopp really respects.
Yeah, they laugh it off at the end. They like share their like ale and like, food and whatever. So like to them, it's not a matter of like I hate you, I want you to die. It's like at this point, it's just like a battle of honor, and they each understand like why they're doing it for them, and it's not like for like animosity or it's like because like they don't like each other. It's for another reason.
Right. Yeah, it's just like the respect there.
Exactly. Yeah, it's very respectful.
I wonder who poisoned it.
Yeah,
My money's
I
on
do wonder.
Karoo.
Karoo,
Oh,
the duck.
that damn duck with his
Yeah,
alternative.
that's some good acting on Cruz, and then because like his reaction looks very genuine.
Yeah, no, he's a trained actor duck.
I'm actually
I
not
love.
sure. I don't know. I don't know who
Yeah.
it could be.
But I do love how Dorry, he doesn't think for a second that Broggy would have done something like this.
Yeah.
So he's like, the only other person it could have been was you guys. So I know it couldn't have been Broggy.
He's got a point, like to a degree, like because I agree with him that like this just after 100 years later, like instead of fighting you honorably in the middle of the island, I'm gonna poison your beer. That's just not gonna happen. So It's a fair assumption to make. Now, would I run right to fight you? I would be like, so we're gonna sit down and discuss this, and you're gonna give me your best case as to why you didn't do this.
Well, we just discussed
Well,
that, like they're the way of the warrior. So this is
yeah,
how they settle their disputes, and like the
this
god
is
of
how they settle
Elbaf,
their
Quite literally.
disputes. Fair enough. So
and
yeah,
the god of Elbaf would be like, "Hey, whoever wins this fight was right in this dispute." So
you're not. You know what? You got me, Joel.
yeah,
this is the discussion.
The way of the warrior.
So,
I just thought of that. Yeah.
Who could it be though? Who would tamper with the beer? Like I can't imagine it being any of the actual crew, which leaves the princess. But why would she tamper with beer for people who are trying to help her out?
Yeah, especially the giant. You don't want to mess with the giant here.
Yeah, no.
Although Luffy seems ready to go. Luffy's not intimidated by a giant.
Yeah, Luffy was very much up for the task. He was like, "Oh, sorry. All right, let's throw fists. Let's do it."
All right. Any closing thoughts before we move on to rankings?
I mean, this is a good start and a good twist, and I am 100% on board for this
Same.
arc. I'm a big fan of it. So
Yeah, off to an explosive start. All right. So let's get some rankings in here. Last week we didn't get Sean's rankings, so I figured we can get some of his thoughts on the last volume, and we can have him rank Logtown and Reverse Mountain. So let's start with that. So just give us like a little overview of what you thought of last volume.
Laboon is an absolute Chad. I sent this to Joel in our group chat yesterday when I couldn't make it. I mean, you don't spend that long hammering your face against the wall, like being like, "Fuck you!" just come back, my good buddy, and not come out as a Chad in my book. So I love Luffy. Just doesn't he break because the mast is broken off and he just shoves it right into, he just stabs Laboon with it. It's just like,
he straight up breaks it off the ship.
that's so fucking, oh my god. Crocus's flower hair, doesn't he have like weird like plant hair or something?
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Good stuff. Yeah, no, it's all good. I love, and the biggest thing I regret. No, I did. My biggest thing I regret missing for that episode is the swearing of their like oaths as they walk in. Like, I'm gonna be king of the pirates. I'm gonna fight all blue.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a map of the world. Like, I love that's an iconic scene.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely, like that's like top 10 moments for me. Like, just excellent stuff. I love them being in the comm belt and just like, oh, everything's fine, right? It's nice. And then now we're all gonna die. We're all gonna die. We're all gonna die. We're all gonna die. And then boom, they all just show up. Like,
such a cool page when the Neptunians showed up. Like, that's such a cool, creative, fun idea. I love that.
It's great stuff. Yeah, and I mean, I have my rankings of the arcs. I sent it to the Discord just now. Well, a little while ago, but I can list them, or is that where we want to start? Or
yeah, let's pull those up here, so we can see how you rank them. Okay, so for your rankings as of Reverse Mountain, so in order you had Arlong Park, Paratier, Logtown, Romance Dawn, Syrup Village, Orange Town, and Reverse Mountain.
So I like Reverse Mountain, but at the end of the day, it's like 4 chapters, and it's like, besides Laboon being a Chad, it's like, it's like, it's not bad. A B is still a passing grade. Like, it is perfectly cromulent, but everything else was just a little bit meatier. So that's kind of where I end up with it.
And we're on the same page. I think we had it lower on our end as well. So Evan had Arlong Park, Baratier, Logtown, Syrup Village, Romance Dawn, Reverse Mountain, Orange Town. And then I had Arlong Park, Baratier, Syrup Village, Logtown, Orangetown, Romance Dawn, and Reverse Mountain. So we all had it pretty close to the bottom, if not the bottom. Again, like you said, it's still a great arc, but I think in comparison to what we've had so far, it is a little bit less substantial.
It's
Like, even
more
though
of a mini arc.
yeah, there's some like really great moments still, and I love the introduction to the Grand Line, and we kind of get like a roadmap to the One Piece. But at the end of the day, yeah, it's just a little bit. I think it's just there's a little bit less there, story wise. It was a little bit more of like table setting.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. With that being said, let us get the ranking for Whiskey Peak. So, Evan, how about we start with you?
Ooh.
Where would you place Whiskey Peak?
Whiskey Peak, I think, also felt more of like a table setting arc, just because the opponents weren't that strong. I mean, the biggest battle of that arc was Luffy versus Zoro. Absolutely. Yeah. And like, they do face two devil fruit users, but they're both discarded with pretty quickly and pretty nonchalantly. I don't know. I think that like we get a lot of introduction to the Baroque works and kind of how the Baroque works, and like kind of everyone's rankings and the whole like breakdown of that system. But as far as like actual battle goes, like Zoro was a total badass and like kicked a lot of ass, and I obviously love that. And like, I'll take Zoro kicking ass all day, but I think overall it wasn't as strong of like a battle as say Baratier or Arlong. So I would rank it probably like A or B. I have to pull up the standings again, but I think I'd rank it on the lower end of what we've experienced so far. So probably, I don't know, either A rank or B rank.
Okay, and where would you put it arc wise?
I'll put it. I'm going to put it in B rank, but before Reverse Mountain.
Okay. Okay, so your updated rankings would be Arlong Park, Barate, Logtown, Syrup Village, Romance Dawn, Orangetown, Whiskey Peak, Reverse Mountain.
Yeah, I think I'm okay with that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, then Sean, let's get your opinions.
It's the same as Evans, essentially. I would put. I agree with him pretty much entirely about Whiskey Peak of it. It's like a fun slapstick arc, almost in a way, with that added lore of Baroque works. But like, there's no real. The biggest threat throughout all of Whiskey Peak is the what do they call the Unluckies realizing that like that's the scariest moment. None of the things they fight are like of any real threat. Like the biggest fight is Luffy versus Zoro, and the biggest threat is the Unluckies hearing Vivi say crocodile. I love Igaram. I love him and his hair. But I mean, what do they do really? They just kind of
the character design's up there.
A plus stuff. But yeah, it's otherwise just kind of like it's a pit stop. Kind of it's a slapstick pit stop, and we're ready to keep going.
Yeah, it feels like a setup for a later Baroque works arc that would be maybe more substantial with some more serious players.
Okay, so you had Arlong Park, Barate, Logtown, Orangetown, Syrup Village, Romance Dawn, Whiskey Peak, Reverse Mountain.
Yep, I put it the same place as Evan did, a little bit above Reverse Mountain, just because it is a bit more substantial. Like I think it's however many chapters versus that, but in the same rank as B. It's a B rank for me.
Okay. I'm actually right there with you guys. So I'm gonna put it in B rank, but I'm gonna put it right before Reverse Mountain Sorry, hold on. Orange Park, Barate, Syrup Village, Logtown, Orangetown, Romance Dawn, Whiskey Peak, Reverse Mountain. So yeah, with Whiskey Peak, I do think there's some really great moments. I also think there's some lower moments as well. To me, like the highlight is um Zoro versus the 100 Bounty Hunters. And like I was telling Evan like last week, like this is an episode of the anime where I could like point to somebody who hasn't seen it before and be like, I just wanted to see like a cool like Zoro like moment. Like, can you like show me something that like kind of shows like how Zoro is? And I'm like, yeah, this would be like the perfect like just one shot to show people and then kind of get a taste for like who Zoro is. And I think like the action's really cool and like Zoro's really cool in general. Um I love the setup for the Baroque works and getting more of the organization. The reveal with Vivi and Igaram being from the Kingdom of Alabasta. The introduction to more members of Baroque works. So all that stuff is like really great. But then like you guys were saying, like the stakes also feel a bit low. Like Luffy versus Zoro. Like I was saying, like it kind of makes sense within the context of the story, but at the same time, it also kind of goes against what we've seen with Luffy's character in the past and how he gives his crew the benefit of the doubt. So to me, I do feel like that's a little detraction. It's just meant for like kind of for fun. It's not meant to be taken that seriously. It's obviously not like a fight where one of them's gonna die. So it's not meant to be like high stakes, um, but at the same time, that makes like the whole fight of the arc less substantial in that way. And then there's also again like the emotional parts where like Igaram gets blown up, so like that's part of it too. The introduction to this mysterious Miss All Sunday is pretty cool. Um, so overall, I do think there's some like really good stuff, but like compared to what we've seen so far, it's just like I was saying with Reverse Mountain, it does feel like table setting, and for this one too, like you guys were saying too. Yeah, so that's where I land on it for right now.
So yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know. I feel like we haven't had any like dud arcs yet. You know, like this
No.
arc still brought a lot to the table, and there were some amazing moments. We haven't had any really like clearly bad arcs that I would just kind of like dismiss. Yeah, I feel like everything has been pretty solid so far.
I might have an unpopular opinion, but I don't think there is a bad arc in One Piece.
I remember you saying this in the start. I do disagree, but it's going to be a while before we get to one I consider like legit bad. And for what it's worth, there's like a handful. There's like 2 or 3 at most for me.
Yeah, there's just like a lot of like high moments of the series, and like I love everything in this series. But to me, like there's comparatively like lower moments. Like what I'm saying here, again, not saying anything that we've encountered so far is bad. I think everything is great. It's just like something has to be like lower on the tier list, just by nature of it. If we're gonna be ranking something, you have to put something at the bottom.
Totally. Yeah, I'm really enjoying this series, and I kind of mentioned it earlier. I think that like post East Blue, where like I was saying, all the characters are established. It's really like satisfying at this point in the stage. Like we're at the Grand Line, like we have a ship, we have an established crew. Everyone has their like things and their characteristics that are in play, and just kind of like seeing this crew working together has been really great, like through Baroque Works. And I'm just like really enjoying where the series is and where it's going. And kind of like the dynamic that's building amongst the crew and how the world is building. I'm just like really enjoying the writing and illustration on a whole.
Yeah. And like to compare it to like Marvel movies, like we're at the point where it's like we're past like their origin story. Like a lot of like the first movies are like introducing the character, how they got their powers, blah blah blah.
Right.
And then when you get like past that, you get to like a sequel. It's like, all right, we already know who this character is. We can get right into like a new story.
Right.
So it feels we're kind of like at that stage. We're past the origin stories, and we're now like, everybody's like established, and we can just tell stories with these characters.
Totally.
We can start establishing other characters and like those pieces, but we're not like trying to set up like a whole world, and we're not trying to set up like our main crew, like all from the beginning. So we're at a point where we can kind of just get like stories about these characters.
Totally. And I think Baroque Works is working as like a good sort of like enemy construct, because it's kind of like a layered, mysterious, but also like very regimented and like, they're literally numbered in
Yeah.
like their rank. So it's literally like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. So I think that, like, just assuming we're probably going to see these characters in that order as we work our way up to Sir Crocodile and that boss battle, which I'm pretty excited for. And we haven't even seen. We've heard Sir Crocodile, but we have not seen we have no image for this villain yet. It's
We got a little
shrouded in
silhouette,
mystery.
but
Yeah, we got a classic Oda silhouette.
yeah,
A silhouette. We did get a silhouette. That's right.
Yeah, but
Not
very
much.
very minimal.
Yeah.
Not much to go off of.
Right.
But yeah, like it's also interesting to note here that like they set this like villain organization up, and we've already gone through like 2 arcs where we've like been introduced to them, and we have not resolved that story yet.
Yeah.
So I think we're getting a sense that this is building to something bigger, and it's not going to be something that's going to just immediately going to be resolved. So, I mean, if you look at the spines, Baroque Works goes on for a little while. So just kind of give you an indication, like, this is bigger than what it might seem. So stay tuned.
Yeah.
Stay tuned on the next
Getting good.
Bat
Getting
channel.
good.
Okay. Any closing thoughts before we wrap up?
I can't wait to see Luffy fighting a giant. I'm excited for that.
Well, hopefully you have to wait too long.
No, I don't think we will.
All right. So, yeah, I think that's going to do it for this week's episode. You can find this episode wherever podcasts are found at wearereadingonepiece.buzzsprout.com or on our YouTube channel at We Are Reading One Piece. This is a spoiler-free channel up to where we've recorded the podcast so far. So if you're new to the series, you can visit the channel there. You can also find me and this podcast on my YouTube channel at Parking Codex for various One Piece content. But next week, we will be discussing Volume 14, Instinct. I've been Joel, and I've been joined by my co-hosts, Sean.
This is Sean.
And Evan.
Hey, guys. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.
All right. Thanks for listening, and be sure to bring along all of your hopes and dreams, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Me.